What's up, bro?
What's up, brother?
Nice having you.
Thank you for having me, man.
So, yeah, today, pick up the pen. This is the fourth episode, and as with all the other videos before and all the other guests, they always leave a question. And I have a little note for you under the table. There's a little book. There's a question that was left from the former guest. Now, you should read it, and I'm curious, or we're curious, about your response.
Who would you be if your job was taken from you? I mean, considering that my job is, thank God, so far my passion, I don't really know.
That's a hard one.
An NPC, probably. That's an interesting question. I really don't know. Maybe something else that would have been meant for me. I don't think you could take that away from me, really.
Yeah, I think that's also a really profound and difficult question to respond, especially if you are working in your passion. I mean, also that I think that's also kind of, I would not say luck, but it's not the usual that people are really in their passion, because I think there's also a lot of fear that comes with this, because you're an artist, and as an artist, I think the path is super, super difficult. But you being the artist today, I have also a few interesting questions for you, and also your background. Now, you have traveled to different countries, and you experienced different cultures. Now, how did this shape your personal growth as a musician, as an artist? Knowing you was in the UK, you was in the US, born in Romania, being here in Germany.
I think it did. As you can see by the way that I talk, I had a lot of influence from multiple cultures and from multiple places. So I guess a very big influence. And I guess it's just me. It just taught me how to understand more people, and by understanding more people, I guess understand myself better as well. So I guess that's what it did. You know, being all over the place and having the opportunity and the blessing to be, where I wanted to go and make that happen for myself. I guess it's a blessing and a big lesson in everything.
Yeah. Now, your music is not only hip hop. You're pretty much influenced by like jazz, R&B, and what artists inspired you on that way to also go into that direction of, having this cool mix and, putting that all together? Because that's also not really simple to do, having that taste for that.
I think it started very early, because when my earliest musical influence that I could remember was in Romania. I had like a little laptop back then. I don't know how. My auntie or something, I had a little laptop, and then I always used to listen to Michael Jackson, Amy Winehouse. That's my earliest memory that I got with music, and a bunch of other stuff. So I think it really helped me understand music a lot. And I guess at some point I kind of transitioned from the Michaels to like me coming to get to know hip hop, to the Dr. Dre's and Eminem's and Snoop Dogg, and later on Kendrick Lamar, J. Cole, them ones. And I guess that's where the influence came from me. Yeah.
Now, you said also Romania. You grew up in Romania, right?
Yes, man. Yes, I came here when I was 12.
12, yeah. So your childhood was pretty much also influenced by, living in the Romanian culture. How was hip hop viewed there?
It's a big thing. We got a lot of our own issues, and we all know we got a lot of growing up in Romania. It's like, we got a lot of, it's a community vibe with one another, and it's a lot of pain. So I guess that's also reflected in the music, especially in the hip hop. They got also a big underground scene. So it's pretty big over there as well. Yeah.
That's good to hear. Now, also, your sound is really unique, and you bring a lot of, like metaphors, like you was also talking about the whole pain, how do you approach the or how do you approach a project when you create a song? Like what goes through your minds while creating?
I think it's always different, to be honest. It's like I sit like sometimes the inspiration would just come and I have the idea instantly for like a project, then I will shape everything that I do around it.
Mm-hmm.
For example, the Know Thyself tape,
Mm-hmm.
I had the idea of, having to structure it like a jazz bar atmosphere, like a lot of jazzy influence. And obviously the topic Know Thyself, philosophical questions about daily living and our daily life and my thoughts and my perspective on them, and wrap them all together in the project that you could hear now. So it's like that approach was okay. I had an idea and I kind of worked around it, but also sometimes I'll just be doing a song where the inspiration comes and then I just step into that, finish it, step on to the next. It really is it's always a different approach. You can't really put it like give it a blueprint. Like it's always different.
There are no patterns, literally.
I mean, to an extent, yeah, but not really. At the same
really.
time, like it's music, it's creativity, it's free. Like you could just unfold it. You feel it when it comes, and you just let it out, basically. Yeah.
Now, storytelling is also a big part of creating music. And where do you find something from your personal life comes out the strongest, like in your work? Where you find it? Because you also do acting.
Yeah.
But mainly music. Where do you see this comes out the strongest?
I think since acting is such a new thing to me, is I think music comes out it comes out the strongest because that's my most comfortable form of expression. Acting is still a new thing, and that one you got to go as deep to kind of get to know your emotions and express yourself in that manner. But I still got to get into that comfort zone within acting to be uncomfortable or to be comfortable with the discomfort of the new form of expression that I found for myself. So I guess it's like it's still the music, but I'm trying to make sure that I unfold it into the acting as well, that it becomes smooth, and then I'm very open to it to let my emotions just flow in a creative process on that matter as well. Yeah.
Now, also when it comes to your lyrics, you, like you mentioned, you have deep messages, and I know from myself, I like to listen to artists that have a meaning to their songs, because you also know, and it's not to throw shade on anybody, but there are a lot of artists that create songs that they're empty. There's no real context, like My Booty Hole Brown, these kind of things. It's just like, how do you view these kind of artists? Like, how do you see this? I mean, it's also art, but it's also like from someone that does really deep, like really puts in a lot of work and puts a deep thought into the lyrics. How do you view that?
I mean, to me, it's like it's not like the way I view it in a sense. It's like it's just a factual thing that happened throughout time, that creativity or art in general, instead of people letting it unfold the way it should, they just perverted it. So they took music, or let's say whatever art, whatever kind of art, whether it's movies, whatever it's that, and perverted it from the pure creative flow into making it like, let's put it together like fast food. It's fast food music, so it's just being sold to the people. I don't know if you saw that interview Tupac did back then. He said something about MC Hammer's song, Can't Touch This, because it's sold so many times. That don't mean that it's good for the people. That Crack sold a bunch of, millions of times, but that don't mean it's good. So it's like, I kind of look at it like that. Like it's like somebody tweaked it to the point where it's like, okay, we're going to take the music, form it a certain way to trigger certain things in people, and kind of, I guess that's what's going on. I guess that's my understanding of it. Yeah, I guess that's what's happening. Yeah, they just shaped it in a certain way to affect people a certain way. So
yeah,
I let it be. I think people at some point gonna realize and gonna be tired of it, hopefully. But that's basically what it is. Yeah, from my understanding so far, looking at it from an outside perspective. It's not something that I relate to, or but yeah, it's just fast food music. It's poison. if you analyze it. Any way you might want to analyze it is, I think it's poison. Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
Now, being in the music industry, I'm a big fan. I really also love old school music, and that's also where you are more inspired, or where you probably have your main inspiration from, because it still has substance.
Thank you.
Knowing that this industry is really difficult, also to connect with people, but also to be noticed as an artist. What are challenges you faced as a musician?
I think the biggest challenge is, living in the age of algorithm and living in the age of you got to do things for attention to capture the people's attention, but attention span is so small. Like, you know how even you and me, when we on social media, we're just scrolling on things and watching a bunch of funny stuff, and then it's like, damn,
3 hours gone.
3 hours are gone, and it's like, then from an artistic perspective, when you look at it, everybody else does the same thing. They all do. All human beings, we're not very much different in that matter. We just get captivated by that dopamine release. And you just scroll. And to think that when you post a video, if you didn't catch the people in that 1 second, because you know how it is when you look at a video, if you didn't catch that person in the first 3 seconds, you gone. So how do you manage to captivate the people quickly? And I guess that's the biggest challenge. Whereas at the same time, it's also a blessing because that gives you a good reach once you understand it. But it's also like, yeah, really, you just got to find the right balance with it. But I guess that's the challenge, just, getting people to see and hear you. I guess that always was a thing. It's just that today you got different means getting to it. Yeah.
Now, you're being based in Germany. You also experience different support. Being in Germany, what is your feeling of the support in this country and also the understanding for music, especially hip-hop?
Well, I think there are people all over the place in Germany, whether it's Romania or wherever, that support the music they want to support if they can connect to it and feel what's going on. But personally, the most support I've been getting was from Romania, from my people. They've been supporting me the most. And then, going to the States, then the UK, that's the places of the most support. And Germany is also up there, but it's like, I think you got to captivate the people in a different manner in Germany than you would do in other places. And for other reasons, I think it's also art in understanding how you get the people to listen to you, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, I have always the feeling that a lot of, like, especially in Germany, that people don't, like, Berlin is a bit exceptional, I have to say. Me now living here almost 2 years, I can tell that this is a different crowd.
It is.
It's totally different. Like, you're in Munich, we don't need to talk about that. It's just different people, without seeing or saying anything bad. But also, I believe, depending on which city you are, it really comes down. But in general, like in Germany, I don't see that the support is that big, especially if you do something. People struggle to share content. It's a matter of fact, like it just literally takes you a few seconds to share something, but also understanding that people kind of, I would say, they thinking too complicated. They probably think like, okay, if I share this, will this be weird, or why should I share this, But they're actually not really seeing that an artist is trying to grow. So even if you may not find it too cool, if you share it, maybe you have friends that can resonate with that, you know what I mean? But I see that this is like a big struggle with many people. For me, it's just normal. Like, for example, when someone has a business and they say, hey man, can you support me? Can you share this? Or I don't know, if someone has like a clothing brand, I'll just buy a t-shirt or something like that. Of course, in my means, not everybody can do this, of course, depending on who you are, if you're still a student, depending on your financial situation, that's also like an issue. It's not always the simplest and easiest, but these are just things that come natural to me and simple. But of course, I understand that it's not the average way of thinking. I just find it's pretty difficult to really grow in the German market.
Yeah, I think the German market needs approval from outside first, from other places, because it's just not from my experience, it's not a country where, anybody can unfold artistically very well. But, you know, everybody got to know and got to find the right moves for themselves. And with moves, we're going to start this because we might actually forget. I'm going to get to be the first to make a move.
Moving on to fitness and mental health. As a performer, it's also crucial for you to really take care of your physical body, but also of your mental health. And how does fitness or working out influence your creativity and also your stage presence?
I think it's very important to me. It's something that gets my mind free, so I guess I gotta work out. I have to. And every time I catch a cold or I get sick, I was like, okay, having to get back into that. It's mandatory to me, I guess, to work out and keep my physique. You know, it's more for the mental, but it has this like, you know, an after effect in the physique with it. So yeah, it's very important, I think, and it helps with the creativity. I mean, your body's right, your mind is right, everything else gonna be accordingly to that.
Yeah. When it comes to also mental challenges, because the physical part is, for most people, the easiest, because me as a health coach, you know, the majority of people, they kind of know how to work out, so they know how to go to the gym, you know, they know how to pick up a dumbbell, you know, because people know those basic things. Of course, when it comes into more technical stuff and really training efficient, that's a whole different topic, because everybody can train, but, you know, are you just working out or training? But that's a whole different topic. And what were mental challenges you faced and how did you overcome them? Because I think also it's not easy, since you are in a creative space as an artist, everything comes from your mental health. How do you manage?
I think that's the way I manage with being able to engage in art. I guess that's my way of managing it, and that imbalance with the workouts. I guess that's what I do. Of course, there's always going to be challenges. You know, they're always going to come. You cannot fully get away from things. You can just build a proper, healthy resistance towards them. And I guess that's the thing that all of us, you know, are constantly working on, I guess. I just try my best to get to understand myself more, get to understand my traumas and the things that, you know, I've been through. And in that manner, accept them and then just work towards them step by step and not try to be overwhelmed. Even if sometimes they get, you know, tough as they do. But yeah, I moved this one, by the way. I made the second thing.
Now coming to the next question, which is how did this evolve over years? So you're evolving as an artist and as a person, and how do you define the success? I mean, success is a thing. I don't know what is success to anybody. Everybody has their own perspective and understanding of success. Like the fact that we could sit here and do a podcast right now, it's already a success in itself, and it's a step for you and for me, for both of us, further into unfolding into success. I guess everything is a success. Like when you wake up in the morning, you go to the gym, you already achieved your goal for that day. It's a success. I guess step by step. We just did the show, the support act for Yellow Straps. In itself, it was a success. Yeah, that was nice. That was
for him, as the main artist going on tour. It was a success, right? You can't really say what is success. You just gotta go with the flow and just go through life and understand who you are and live by that. Nipsey said that one time in one of them interviews. He said either he said that or he read that somewhere, but he spoke on it. Rest in peace to Nipsey. He said, you're always going to be in the same position in life, you know, doing better than some and doing worse than others. So why trip? Like, you know, you're going to reap what you sow. You're going, in the terms of the energy, when you get yourself right in all aspects, I think you can achieve what you want. You can get to where you want and not really focus on the success of it. Even though through times we always think, oh, am I not good enough? Am I not cool? Am I not, is my content, is my music, is the stuff that I do not cool and I'm not dope enough? And it's like that's setting yourself up for failure. You don't got to overthink. You just got to, it's like swimming against the stream of the river. If the river flow that way, no matter what you do, even if you swim against the river that way, the stream always going to go its way. So rather go with the flow instead of against it, because that's when you're gonna kill yourself doing that. So yeah, I guess having that perspective on success could help a lot of people just be eased up more about it and, not put a superficial look on it and just be thankful, thank God for whatever has been put in their way rather than complaining. And, in times where I catch myself complaining, you just gotta check yourself, because if you don't check yourself, somebody else gonna do it, and either way you're gonna get checked. So
That's true.
yeah.
Moving on to collaborations and projects, maybe even dream projects, who is on your bucket list that you would like to have a collaboration with or work with as an artist?
When it comes to dream, it'll be Kendrick Lamar, J. Cole, one of them for sure. When it comes to rappers and like singers, I was gonna say Whitney Houston, but she passed away. Rest easy, Whitney. Yeah, I guess a lot of any soul singer you could think from the '70s to this day, any of them. When it comes to rappers, Kendrick and J. Cole, that'll be the ones.
Now, adding one more question, why?
Just the fact that, I've been inspired and influenced by them so much. I think that could be a proper coalition of energies in the music space. So hopefully by God's grace, one day we can make these happen. So we'll see.
Oh, that's cool, yeah. No, J. Cole, I also really like Kendrick Lamar anyway. Now, moving on to artists that are just entering the scene, what is an advice you have for those artists that especially feel isolated and misunderstood? What is your advice for them?
I guess just do you, understand yourself, understand your art, understand who you are, which is also a thing that I'm working on. Just put in the work. There's no specific way to do any of that. You just do it and you follow your gut, follow your instincts, and then, things will unfold the way they will. Just concentrate on the craft, I guess, and understand the business part of music. Understand how you get out there. That could be my advice in the position that I am right now. Oh, you done took me.
Is there a lesson that you've learned the hard way? Is there one that you learned the hard way and you wish you could have avoided?
Maybe watch the people that I hang with. That could be one, and not put myself in a victim position. Not a lot of them. It's too many. It's so many. We learn every day, so the more and more you think about it, the more, oh Lord, watch the company you keep, see how you treat other people. Check yourself when you're being egocentric, check yourself when you're being a certain way, especially towards the people you love. And I guess I learned a lot about love for things that I put myself in certain positions in certain ways. So yeah, I guess every day we do things and we go through them and we learn from them.
When you speak about the victim mentality, that is a huge topic in today's society. Why do you think that is?
That's a very good question. That is a very good question. I think people it's easy to fall into the trap of being a victim of your own self, like feeling self-pity for you. It's a challenge to fight against it though. It's a lot of pressures from all over the place coming onto you, from society, from people, peer pressure that you got to achieve, like we was talking about success earlier, that you got to achieve certain levels of success, that you got to achieve things. And then you got the feelings of self-worth that you're not good enough for certain things. And I guess all of these things bulk up, and then it's easier to fall into a victim mentality and be like, it's also like almost like an addiction it can become, the self-pity and victim mentality. And I couldn't tell you where that comes from, really. I don't understand. I think it's still a thing because I see it in a lot of people, I see it in myself sometimes. How do you break out of that, Everybody is not like that, but it's like,
No.
It's a challenge. How do you break away from it? And also comes more like a lot, it comes in environments like where I come from in poverty, that people like to put themselves, I cannot do this and that. And I think it might be something that's orchestrated from up there, you know, to keep people in a certain mind state, in a certain mentality, in order to not want to fight back against certain things, not want to put themselves in a positive state in order for things to change a certain way. Because the victim mentality is a negative state. So keeping somebody in that state is something that has a definite effect on the bigger picture. And then, you know, I guess, but even with the poverty, some people really have positions where they really cannot make it, and then don't apply that victim mentality. I believe you can make everything happen that you want, but it's like, it's a very complex topic. I think it really got to be a lot of self-analysis with everybody and a lot of realization in order for that to change. You know, even within you or within myself, everybody got to find their own way to tweak that and say, we're gonna put a stop to it right now. You know.
Yeah, I can definitely confirm. And I also was walking in this victim mentality for a long time, especially in my younger years, where, you know, everything else was the issue. But then, you know, the moment you sit down, also have to be willing to, you have to be willing to change, really do it over and over again, because it's not like, okay, it's not like a race where you finish and there's a finish line. It is like a ongoing process. And you get, it's literally like, I call it also a title you have to earn daily. You know, it's not like a championship you win and then for like the next season you're the champion. No, it's literally like you only have this championship for one day. So if you go through one day without being a victim, that is basically just one day. You know, so basically you could say, okay, I'm a non-victim mentality person for like 3 or 4 days, you know, but really keeping yourself accountable, that is hard.
Yeah.
You know, that is the hard part, because, for example, okay, let's just say relationships, you end up with a girl, you could already read signs that maybe it's not the smartest, and then at the end of the day, it comes as, you know, like you predicted, and then you get mad and don't understand, but you ignored actually what God or whoever was trying to tell you in the first place, but you didn't listen.
Yeah.
And then you get mad at the whole situation, but at the end of the day, if you go back to the root, it's your fault. And I think a lot of people cannot say that. You know, at the end of the day, it was my fault. Of course, it's hard, but at the end of the day, and that's the same how I believe it is really important in a friendship. If someone is wrong, you need to check them. And you need to tell them, listen, the behavior was not cool. Maybe not in front of other people, because you should. I strongly believe that you should always speak in person when you're, you know, away from the people and focus. I think this is something, it's not, people don't like to see this. They don't like to hear this, you know. They just want what they don't actually need, you know, and they kind of neglect what they truly should, you know, listen to. I think that's one of the biggest issues why the victim mentality is. The same goes for weight loss. Now, there, of course, are medical conditions that make it super, super difficult, but that is a small minority. You know, if you go worldwide population, not everybody has autoimmune sickness, thank God. But a lot of people just jump to conclusions or say, okay, I'm gonna jump on Ozempic, or I'm gonna just take these pills, or I'm just gonna get this jab, no matter what the effects are. You know, the same for steroids. Oh, I cannot, you know, build muscle, but sleeps like shit, eats like a little child, you know, is in a club drinking, partying, eating like a pig, and then wonders why they cannot lose weight. You know, and then they say, I don't know how this happens, and I don't like to count calories. Well, if you're not willing to pay the price that your goal requires, it doesn't matter what kind of goals you set. At the end, it just stays a goal that you set, but it will not happen. So if you want love, it requires commitment. It requires the super uncomfortable conversations. I mean, I cannot tell you from my experience, you know, now being in a committed relationship, going towards 3 years now, it's not easy. And I'm not saying this in a negative way. I'm saying this in a really, really positive way. It is not easy because you get challenged in ways you didn't think you would be challenged. And that is super new. It's out of your comfort zone. You know, a person tells you, like, listen, this and this and this situation, there needs to be some improvement. And that's also where you need to learn and understand that your ego has no place. And I think this is where people kind of get lost. You know?
Yeah, I mean, when it comes to like health in a physical form, health in a mental form, health in general, you know, And I think it also got something to do with honesty with one another, being honest, being truthful. And everything that's being pushed today in all forms is, it's all against truth, and it's all against love, and it's all against health, if you think about it. Like, everything that's out there, that's being put out there in terms of food, in terms of whatever, it's very, derogatory to the human species, everything that's happening, everything. They separate in love. These days, it's hard to find somebody to make sure you bond with and be committed with. And then when traumas come on top of that, then that shit is completely broken. Nobody trusts each other no more. So therefore, congratulations for, finding somebody that works with.
Appreciate it.
I'm trying to understand how we can break that. I'm trying to understand how we could break that before it becomes a complete catastrophe. Because look at it like this: when a certain strategically orchestrated catastrophe happens, and some people who are more gullible than others like to fall for certain of these things, and when you come to find out the only thing that you could get to eat in times of confusion and in times of struggle like that is unhealthy food, when the opposite is what we're supposed to do, you just got to question a couple little things there, not just fall for anything, and that's in terms of that. Health is a very important thing to us all. It's being fought against. People imagine all the stuff we see in food. What is real food? What do you understand in the real food? What's actually healthy? What is good and bad? When it comes to the stuff you put in your body, as well as the stuff that you put in your mind. We was talking about music earlier, about people rapping about their booty hole. Don't nobody want to hear that? Nobody want to hear that stuff. It's done.
Yeah.
I mean, it's funny and it's all that, but it's like, in a bigger picture, at some point, it's like,
it's
okay,
sad.
We understand. What is it that we're going to do about it?
I did this one.
All right. I've seen it. What are we going to do about it? So I think it's just a general, even with back to the victim mentality, like, you just got to do something about it. Just focus on the now. There's only now. Just concentrate on now. What are you doing now? When you decide to wake up on bullshit, we wake up and do certain things. You got a will and free will of action. Pardon me, but in between that comes control, non-control, self-control in all matters. In the matter of what you think, in the matter of what you do, in the matter of what you, and all these correlate with one another. So that goes to the eating, that goes to the ego, that goes to everything.
Yeah, that is, what I see, especially just taking it back to the whole, also me being a coach and trying to help people on social media to find also a healthy relationship with food. Because, for example, what you said, the good and bad foods, I used to also think about this a lot and say, oh, there are actually good and bad foods. But actually, if you look at it, it is poor behavior. Because it's not a single ingredient that is harmful to you. It is the behavior, how you basically abuse foods, because if you eat 2 Oreo cookies, well, you're not gonna die, that's not gonna happen. But if you eat 3 or 4 packs, and that every 2 days, of course that's gonna become an issue. And this is also something, when you have this conversation with people about weight loss, there's no way around it. You cannot be overweight and healthy. There's no debates. We don't need to talk about that. Because there were even studies done on like a sedentary person that is has a healthy body weight, and an overweight person that is super active, is active 3, 4, 5, no, I think 5 to 6 days a week, and they're still at higher risk of high blood pressure, diabetes, and all this stuff. Of course, you have to think about this. A person that is really active, so there's no debate about this. But when you tell this to people, then they say, oh, you're an asshole. Like, how can you not understand? I'm doing everything. And I also have the feeling that today, feelings are higher ranked than facts. And that's really dangerous. In my opinion, it's super, super dangerous. And that's where we are going right now. You see with all these situations where people say, okay, yeah, like I feel this. And even though you brought facts and even though you brought science, my feelings are the most important. Well, your emotions are valid. Nobody says they're not valid, but you still also have to separate those things, And that's where a lot of people fail.
Yeah, I mean, because the truth is always going to be dangerous. Speaking the truth will always be dangerous. And if you think about it historically, how many people got taken down for the truth?
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to understand that, makes the truth so dangerous and makes it to the point where, you got to do everything in your power to make sure that you keep people away from it, in all manners. Because when I tell you something, if you feel a certain way about it, even though it's the truth, I know because, like I said, we were speaking of the victim mentality. When one of my homeboys tells me something and they mean it from the bottom of their heart, but they're being harsh about it, but it's the truth and it hurts me to hear it, I got to check myself like, damn, bro, that was actually true. I can't be mad at it. I'll be mad at it in that moment, but like, it's the truth. And you got to change something.
Yeah.
Because the truth is the truth no matter what you say. No matter what you do, no matter what you feel, no matter what you think. The truth will always be the truth, whether we like it or not.
Yeah.
And I think that's in society, that's just what it is. It's just how you feel. And I think when you understand human emotion and you understand how people feel, I think it's easier to control them when you have somebody's like a pimp. When a pimp got all these girls, you know what I mean? He just understand how to break them all down emotionally and to keep them
attached.
Exactly. And if you see that on a bigger scale, it just gets there put together, and then, it may at some point just certain things start to make sense. I think that's what, I guess it's a dangerous thing to live in the truth, in truth and live in love. I think, because think about it, these days there's not much of it, and every time it comes up, something comes up to try to tone that down. Yeah. But it's on us, to do something as artists, as people who have a voice, to do something to emphasize these things, because that's the only form of rebellion and power we got to us. And also the responsibility that it comes with it, you know what I mean? So that's my thought on that.
I think that's a topic that has many deep layers. At the end of every podcast, I make it a really special, I would say, tradition that I'm trying to create, and that is you leave a question for the next guest. And this is basically where you pick up the pen and you write the question into the book where you read the former question that was left for you. So, it can be, anything, but I'm always curious to see what it is.
Should I tell you?
I think let's just write it in, and let's keep it for the next episode.
Okay.
Like I'm also testing this, trying this out, so I think this is gonna be cool. So just think about it, and
let me see.
Curious about this.
Okay, too bad we didn't get to finish that. We're gonna finish.
Finish
when the cameras get cut off. You feel me? We're gonna do that. Okay, so what question could it? Let me think. All right, I got something.
You got one?
I got something.
Also, put the date.
The date?
Yeah, the date.
What's the date? What today is?
Today is the 27th.
27th of October.
Oh yeah, the time changed. Wow, the year's almost over, man.
It is, yeah, man. It go fast. And don't you feel like the time goes faster lately? Like,
the older you get?
not the older you get. I mean, just generally, like the days just pass on weirdly. Like they just go on.
You just got more things to do, man.
Not necessarily, because even if I'm over at the crib, like, just doing nothing all day, the day just, and it's like I'll wake up like 8 o'clock, and it's 8 p.m. out of nowhere. I probably believe that it's maybe, I don't know, we kind of lost the, I would say we lost the child in us, kind of, when the more you get older, because you have more responsibilities, you're less in tune with this, And I think that could also be something where time seems to pass by quicker, As a child, you really didn't have a feeling of time, It was like, okay, I'm going out, I come back when it's dark, Like, that was the deal, So our mom said I should be home by dark, so that's cool. That's kind of also the thing, but also maybe it could also depend on where you're living. Like, of course, time is still the same, but if you're living in an environment that is sunny, that is beautiful, maybe, I don't know, it just gives you a different impression of how the time goes by. And how does this time goes by? Is it filled with joy, or is it like filled with worries, struggle, how I'm gonna do this, how I'm gonna do that? So I think this can also influence how we basically feel about time, and how it passed. I think that could also be something. But that's just something I'm pulling up my head and what I would probably put into it. But I'm not sure.
what the correct answer for that would be.
Speaking of answers, I got a trick question. It's not a crazy question. It's also not like, you know, it's almost a cliche question, but it's a trick question in a way. But it's cool. It's going to be an answer. We'll see what the answer comes to that.
No, then I would say we'll wrap it up from here. It was really, really nice. We should definitely sit together again. Different topics, and also for upcoming shows, upcoming projects on your site. Ladies and gentlemen, AdyB, you should check him out. Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, right?
Everything.
Spotify.
All of them.
All of the music streaming services, you can find him. Check him out. And yeah, we appreciate your time, and thanks for watching. See you next time.
Appreciate you for having me.